Hey guys, welcome to the Binge Zone. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the movie Alpha, breaking down the plot, the characters, and the ending of this epic movie of man versus nature and how man and dog became best friends. Anyway, let's just jump into it. The movie takes place 20,000 years ago, and in the opening sequence, we're introduced to a group of indigenous warriors who are hunting a herd of buffalo. And the opening action shot is of the humans rushing towards the buffalo rushing the humans. And from the opening scene, you can already tell that the humans are outnumbered, the buffalo overpower humans, and the humans don't have the tools to actually take down a buffalo. However, we are also showed why humans are on the top of the food chain and why we stayed that way. And that's because of good old human ingenuity. Now, the humans cannot physically take down the buffalo. So they devised a strategy. Instead of attacking the buffalo head on, they kind of herd the buffalo to run off of a cliff. And that way the humans, all they have to do is cause the buffalo to run off, climb down the cliff, and pick up the buffalo meat and hide for the winter. Now, everything is going according to plan until one rogue buffalo decides, you know what? You guys killed enough of my clansmen, my buffalo mates, my buffalo soldiers. I'm going to go ahead and take down one of your own. And that's when the buffalo attacks the main character, Kata. The buffalo takes Kata down and drags him off the cliff with him, which causes Kata to fall off, and the tribemen cannot get down to him. His father, who was leading the hunt and is also the chief of his tribe, is in mourning agony because his son fell off a cliff and they all presume Kata to be dead. After Kata falls off the cliff, we fade to black and we rewind back to a week earlier. And a week earlier in the story, we find that Kata and a group of young boys are carving out their spearheads out of rock. And this is an initiation to decide which of the young teenage boys will become men and actually join the hunt and go with their fathers and fellow tribemen to hunt the buffalo. And Kata and somebody else passed the test. A few of them fail, and the very first test after passing this initiation is to understand that this journey will be perilous and painful. And the way that they understand this is Kata's father, the chief, as the other hunters, jump them and pretty much beat them up to teach them that, you know what, life isn't easy, we're going to suffer, and this is your first taste of actual suffering. And they get their asses kicked. Later that night, they celebrate the hunt, and we find out the very next day that they're actually going hunting for the buffalo the day after they kind of kick the ass of the new recruits, which if you think about it, it's kind of counterintuitive. Why would you beat up these people? What if you injure them before the hunt? That kind of adds a little bit of more danger to the whole scenario if you think about it, really. But you know, they're indigenous humans from 20,000 years ago, so you don't expect them to be as savvy as we are now, right? Right before they leave for the hunt, Kata's mother actually talks to his father and explains to him that Kata isn't built like the father. Kata isn't a warrior, and Kata is more of a refined man who leads with his heart and makes decisions based off his goodness as opposed to might is right and we're just hunting savages. However, his father doesn't believe what she has to say and says that his son is a warrior, a survivor, and he has what it takes to survive the hunt that even other grown men can't survive. Now, once the hunters embark on this trip, we understand why it's a perilous journey, because they have a weeks-long travel to go through and they can't undertake this travel alone. So on their way to hunt the buffalo, they meet another group of nomadic tribemen, and you can see the fear in Kata's eyes, and you see that the other statesmen kind of clench up because it is a confrontation of two different tribes, and they stand there and have a Mexican standoff until Kata's father smiles and breaks the ice. And apparently this is his friend that they go on a hunt with annually. You would think that you wouldn't have to stare down your friend, look him dead in his face like you're about to fight. Because me as the other tribeman, if I haven't seen you in a year and the first thing you do is stand up and your men have their weapons ready and you're hulking at me, I'm gonna think you have pressure. We might have to settle this. However, I guess that's how they greet each other back then. Now, once the two tribes get together, they continue on the journey to the hunt. And the journey is even more perilous as Kata's father is showing Kata how to start his own fire with sticks, how to use the stars to guide back, and how to use the markers left by their ancestors to find his way back home, because all of this is in preparation of training Kata to be chief one day, because he is the son of the chief, therefore next in line to become the chief. But you can already tell that Kata isn't the warrior that his father is. That is not more evident in a scene where they hunt a boar and Kata's father has Kata do the killing blow on the boar. However, Kata doesn't have the stomach to end the boar, so his father kind of does it for him, and the rest of the tribe looks down on Kata as if he isn't man enough to actually lead them one day. Now, after the boar incident, the journey gets even more perilous because they're hunted by hyenas, they're hunted by wolves, and Kata's father explains to them the way that the pack works and why Kata must never show weakness in front of his pack, just like a wolf must not show weakness in front of their pack. in fear that they might lose their status as alpha. And even then, the biggest predator of them all is a saber-toothed tiger, who kind of picks them off one at a time at night till they finally get to the buffalo range. And that's when we go back to the beginning of the movie where they're herding the buffalo off the cliff. And we finally find out what happens. Kata, he falls over the cliff. His father cannot get to him. And after a day of mourning, the other tribe got their buffalo meat. And they're like, you know what? Tell him that while he's mourning his son, my son died in a hunt too. They're walking together in the spiritual lane, but we have to take this back before winter. And when they're going to stay here and mourn Kata's death with you. So they actually leave that tribe, and the tribe has to convince Kata's father to leave him behind, and they do and walk away. It isn't until vultures start picking at Kata that he awakens from his fall off the cliff, and this is where Kata's journey actually begins. Once Kata awakens, he tries to find his father, and he is unsuccessful. He has a broken ankle, so he has to snap his ankle back into place. He's attacked by hyenas. He's attacked by a pack of wolves. And luckily for Kata, he's able to injure one of the wolves, climb on top of a tree until the rest of the wolves actually just abandon their fallen comrade and leave Kata alone because they can't get to their prey. And that's when Kata decides to get down and try to end the wolf. But he still doesn't have the heart to actually end this animal. Instead, he tends for the wolf, feeds the wolf, treats the wolf's wounds, and they kind of form a bond. So this is the very beginning of man and dog. Kata forming this bond with the wolf, and together they set out to find Kata's home. And as the story progresses and as their travels go on, they get closer and closer as the trip gets more perilous and perilous. And they have to actually traverse Europe 20,000 years ago on foot during massive weather change, during the massive winter. And it's their bond that has them carry over. They fight saber-tooths, they fight hyenas, they find dead humans, they fight the freezing cold, until Kata actually goes through all that, uses every training that his father's taught him, and becomes the man hunter and finally makes it to his village to the surprise of everyone. And this solidifies Kata as the greatest of them all because he survived this trip his first time alone with nobody else, and he's tamed a wolf, and the wolf Alpha was injured helping Kata fight the saber-tooth. And we come to find out that she didn't succumb to injury. She actually was pregnant and delivered a litter of wolf pups, and this is looked upon by Kata's people as a sign of him bringing them the utmost luck. And the movie ends with Kata looking at the wolves, domesticating the pups, and the actual ending is of Kata leading his tribe with his wolf Alpha next to him and her whole litter, and that's man and dog, going out to hunt. And that begins the man's best friend narrative of humans and dogs, because Kata and his people have domesticated wolves, and now they have a leg up in hunting. Because during his journey with Alpha the wolf, they actually learned some tactics to hunt animals together, which kind of benefits all of humankind if you think about it. So according to this story, if we have anyone to thank for our bond with dogs, that has to be Kata and his tribesmen. Even though me personally, I don't like dogs. But anyway, guys, that's the movie Alpha in a nutshell. It's the story of Kata, his evolution as a character, as a man, using his heart and saving this wolf actually created a bigger bond that lasts till this very day. And because of his big heart, we now have man's best friend. And that would have never happened had he been a savage warrior like his parents. So that just goes to show you don't always have to be what your parents want you to be. Anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't already. And until next time, binge on.